Good morning, everybody. Jim Hoffman here, pastor at St. John's United Methodist Church in Midtown, Kansas City. It's Friday. It is time for our daily devotion, friends, so I want to invite you to come and join me. Let's take a moment to pause and center ourselves on God's presence in our lives today. I'm looking forward to spending a couple of moments in devotion with you. As you find us on Facebook, say hello. Would love to hear from you. If you are someone who watches this at a different time, don't forget to leave your comments as well. It's always nice to see who is part of our devotion time. So, looking forward to spending some time with you. This beautiful Friday. I understand that it's supposed to rain most of tomorrow. So, spend a little time outside if you can. Hi, Stacy. Good morning to you. Hello, Linda. Good morning to you. Or at least that was the weather forecast according to my physical therapist this morning, that it's supposed to rain tomorrow. I have not looked at it. Maybe I should. For your reading pleasure today, friends, we're going to be in the prophet Isaiah. So if you want to find that real quick, the prophet Isaiah, the 38th chapter, verses 9 through 20. So the prophet Isaiah, chapter 38, beginning in the 9th verse. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Chris. Good morning to the two of you. Glad you're here as well. I had myself oriented to where I was turned to the end of my dining room table here and would look out my windows right on this side. But boy, the picture was so dark all of a sudden because of the screen and the camera adjust to all the light. And so I thought, I'm going to go back to my normal orientation where I'm sitting, where there's some light behind, to the side of me, but not directly behind me. So hopefully I don't look like I'm sitting in the dark. Isaiah 38, verses 9 to 20. Boy, you come for devotion time and you get all kinds of odd commentary from the pastor, huh? All right, waiting to see if anybody else says good morning. It takes folks a couple of minutes to get oriented, so. All right, one more time, Isaiah chapter 38, verses 9 through 20. Here is our prayer that we begin with, friends. O God, by your spoken word you created everything that is. By your incarnate word you redeemed us. By your comforting word you are with us still. Prepare us now to hear your word to us this day. Amen. All right, Isaiah chapter 38, verses 9 through 20. A writing of King Hezekiah of Judah, after he had been sick and had recovered from his sickness. I said, in the noontide of my days I must depart. I am consigned to the gates of Sheol for the rest of my years. I said, I shall not see the Lord in the land of the living. I shall look upon mortals no more among the inhabitants of the world. My dwelling is plucked up and removed from me like a shepherd's tent. Like a weaver, I have rolled up my life. He cuts me off from the loom. From day to night, you bring me to an end. I cry for help until morning. Like a lion, he breaks my bones. From day to night, you bring me to an end. Like a swallow or a crane, I clamor. I moan like a dove. My eyes are weary with looking upward. O Lord, I am oppressed. Be my security. But what can I say? For he has spoken to me, and he himself has done it. And all my sleep has fled because of the bitterness of my soul. O Lord, by these things people live, and in all these is the life of my spirit. O restore me to health, and make me live. Surely it was for my welfare that I had great bitterness, but you have held back my life from the pit of destruction, for you have cast all of my sins behind your back. For Sheol cannot thank you, death cannot praise you. Those who go down to the pit cannot hope for your faithfulness. The living, they thank you as I do this day. Fathers, make known to children your faithfulness. The Lord will save me, and will sing, and we will sing to stringed instruments all the days of our lives at the house of the Lord. Our devotion writer today is Sophia Bricker, and Sophia is from North Carolina. Her focus verse is verse number 17. Surely it was for my benefit that I suffered such anguish. Here is Sophia's devotion for today. One summer evening, I flipped through my prayer journal filled with scribbled prayers, quotes, and drawings. The journal was from a time I had struggled with anemia, requiring multiple iron infusions. At the time, everything seemed uncertain. How many more infusions would I need? Would I ever experience healing? As I reviewed my old journal, I saw the little ways God displayed loving care for me. A kind word from a nurse, the beauty of a sunset, a much-needed Bible verse. Hezekiah also experienced an illness that brought him closer to God. After receiving the news that he would not recover from a serious illness, the king sought God's help through prayer, and God answered by increasing Hezekiah's life by 15 years. Although seasons of sickness are painful, they often push us to seek God's presence and help. We learn more about God's faithfulness as we trust God in the uncertainty of each day. If we are open to God's presence, we will also find that God is growing our faith. While we are in the midst of suffering, pain may affect our perspective. But when we take time to reflect, we will discover that God has been with us all along. A thought for the day is, during times of affliction and suffering, God never leaves me. So I'm curious, for you, what's kind of some of your practices? Do any of you write down, thoughts? Do you journal or anything like that? There's such a thing as called a gratitude journal. And it's one of those things that's trying to figure out how to keep us from focusing on all of the negative things that are going on in the world around us, because we can easily do just that. I have family members that occasionally I will see some of their posts on Facebook, or primarily Facebook, because I don't participate in other social medias. I'm not on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, those kinds of things, but I do have a Facebook account, and I'll see posts from them on Facebook, and it's just like the world is ending, it seems like. And I know part of that is because of their, where they get their news sources and things like that. And I keep trying to encourage them to think about the good things that are going on in their lives, and see if they can't find ways to lift those up. And I think that's part of what we need to be reminded of. It is fascinating in the story of Isaiah, the moment that Hezekiah decides to pray is the moment that he is told that he has an illness that's going to take his life away from him. And then he decides that he's going to pray. And his prayer is heard. The prophet comes and tells him that he's going to live another 15 years. Now, the fascinating thing of it is in that 15 years, Hezekiah has another son. His son grows up to become king. And his son is classified as one of the worst kings that ever ruled over the people. So you got to be careful about what you maybe ask for sometimes. But the thing of it, though, is how often do we find ourselves, mostly complaining about things that are going on in our lives, and always seeing the negative around us? What are we doing to find the good? What are we doing to find the places where no matter what's going on, we will see God's presence in our lives? How do we take note of that? the positive words, the kind words that might come from a friend that are just in the moment that you need them. A note that comes, or a verse that flashes up on a screen or something like that. Or maybe you just simply read a positive article that's going on. You might hear a message from someone. It might be an old friend that calls. Who knows what it is, but don't let those pass by. Don't let those get overwhelmed by the negative of the world around us. We really need to hold on to those kinds of nuggets of gold, and we need to be reminded that they are, I think, little messengers from God. They are the moments in which we see God active in our lives. To be reminded that God never leaves us, no matter what's going on, whether it's affliction, suffering, or the celebration of a birthday or an anniversary or something like that. God is there with us, and we need to be reminded of that. More and more these days, we need to be reminded of that. And so let us take a moment to pause and pray. Gracious Lord, help us to be aware of your loving presence, no matter what is going on in our lives, whether we are suffering in sickness or distress, or celebrating joys and goodness in our lives. May we see you there and take note of that and dwell in it. Amen. All right, friends, great to see all of you today. Thanks for being here. Good number of you. Hello, Barbara Paddock. Good morning to you. Hello, Jan. Great to have you today as well. It's good to see all of you. Thanks for being here. Don't forget the little reminders. If you would like, feel free to share this on your own Facebook page. Maybe one of your family and friends will take a moment to join in our devotions with us. If you're someone that watches this later on, say hello. I would love to hear from you. Take a moment to pause and pray for one another. I am praying for you, and I hope that you will take a moment to also pray for me. And then come back on Monday and join us for our devotion time. I'll look forward to seeing you then. Of course, in between now and then, we're going to have worship on Sunday. For those of you that are part of the St. John's community, I hope that I will see you in worship this weekend. For those of you that are part of another community, go find your people and be with them this weekend. I am sure that it will be a time that will enliven and enrich your soul. All right, friends, well, I am praying God's rich grace and peace be upon you the rest of this Friday. Again, thanks for being here. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye, everybody.